So I'm going to show you an advanced technique to create a horizontal ombre using a detail brush. Once you've applied base coat and cured for 30 seconds, you can move on to your base shade. So for this look, I'm going to use two teal shades, a light version and a darker version, so that I can easier blend the two tones. First, we'll start with the darker teal shade, and we're going to paint half the nail. I'm getting as close to the cuticle as I can without flooding it, and then pulling down the color to half the nail. We're going to leave that uncured, and then we're going to come in with the lighter teal shade. When you apply the lighter teal shade, you want to get as close to the dark color as you can, but you don't want to touch it because you don't want to compromise your bottle brush with a different color. So that looks good. Leave that uncured. So now I'm going to grab a detail brush to start blending in the colors. You want to keep it pretty perpendicular to the nail and do a really light touch and move it left and right. And if you're starting to notice it's getting a little streaky, but don't freak out because this is just the first coat. So I'm really going to focus on the center where the two colors meet. And if you notice a little bit right here, I have some white. Naturally, I'm working on a nail tip, but if you're working on a client, you can always pull back her skin to get really close to the sidewall here. If you're worried that you have too much darker colors over the lighter shade, it helps to wipe your brush clean. And then continue the technique. And so here I'm just making sure that the color gets as close to the sidewall as possible. If you're working on a client, super important you pull back the skin so you don't get any gel on her. So because I do have a little bit more of the darker shade over on the lighter area, my pro tip is to grab the color from as close to the free edge as possible and bring it back up. And this will also help with the blending. Once you're happy with the look, cure for 30 seconds. And we're going to repeat the same process. So first start off with your darker shade and paint half the nail. And then paint the bottom half with the lighter shade. If by chance you do happen to touch the darker shade with your lighter brush, make sure you wipe it before you put it back in the bottle. And now we're going to start to blend. If you make a mistake, it's okay, because remember we're working with gel polish, so it's really forgiving. So again, yes, we're working on a tip, but if this was a client, super important you get as close to the sidewalls as possible. So in this instance, if it was a human, I'd be pulling back the skin. Keeping a really light stroke to blend the colors. And when you feel like you have too much excess product on your brush, you can always wipe it away. Also, there's nothing stopping you from reloading the lighter shade if you feel like the darker color has kind of taken over. So I'm adding just a little bit more of that mint color. So once you're happy with your look, you're going to cure for 30 seconds. After you cure your gradient, complete the look with top coat. And now cure this for 30 seconds. To finish the surface, remove the inhibition layer with a lid-free wipe and alcohol. And that's how you do a horizontal ombre with a detail brush.